Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, verse number 11. The topic is Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu yaha parasparam bhavayantah shreya paramavapsyatha. May you satisfy the gods by the performance of sacrifice. In turn, may the gods enhance your fulfillment. Thus assisting each other, may you attain the highest good in the form of self-realization. The statement is highly allegorical, and you are being led to very profound insight. Gods are called Devas. There is always Daivi Shakti, there is Asuri. Asuri is demoniac, forces of darkness. Daivi is forces of light. Daivi Shakti, light, is always the reality. Darkness has no reality. Next time you face darkness, you take a flashlight. Try to see what does it look like. The word Deva, two letters of significance. De means they are gods ready to give to you all types of blessings. Who are those gods? First comes the very physical plane. Suppose you are living in a closed room, all darkness, and you have a beautiful painting of the sun inside. Now, as you open the door, now it's the day, sunlight is everywhere. Sunlight comes to you. Until then, the sun was waiting at your door, not even ringing the bell, with immense patience, and is ready to give to you only to the extent you open, never going beyond. Sometimes in villages there are some people do some generous business. They bring lots of interesting things in their bags, and they just stand by the door or in the front of the house. And as the person comes out, they say, would you like to have this? With great humility. And if the person picks it up, man says, thank you very much. But if you don't pick it up, all the good things the person has, and he will not push that anymore. So the word they, there are cosmic beings, figuratively. It's all sunlight, air, water, all the external world around you. That's all Devas, gods. The term va in Sanskrit, varana karana. Varan means you choose. Gods are there with all their blessings. You come out and you choose which blessings would you like to have. And behind your back in the darkness there are Asuras. They want to pull your leg. So, may you satisfy the gods by the performance of sacrifice. If you perform sacrifice, gods are more available for you, and God's gifts, you can utilize them with greater success and effectiveness. If you don't perform sacrifice, then gods are waiting for you, but as if they begin to starve, they weaken, and they will take away whatever gifts they have with them. I'm trying to dramatize it. The more you sacrifice, more you are drawing gods to yourself. Less you sacrifice, gods are moving away as if they are depleted of their energy. Your act of sacrifice nourishes, pleases gods. Gods in turn infuses a special energy within you in a very ordinary way. Success leads to success. If you strive and gain success in divine plan, that encourages you to have more success. But let me give you the subtle explanation of gods. Now, sacrifice, Sanskrit word is yajna. In ritual performance, all over the world, in all religions, people know what it means. You get an innocent goat and chop off the head with prayers, mantras, hymns. But that culture evolved on the basis of a profound purpose in life. The purpose is that there are lots of animals in human personality. Anger is an animal. Pride is like a pig. Pig-headed. All these creatures, if you are a yajna performer, then you go on manipulating a little bit of pride, a little bit of anger, a little bit of hate, a little bit of attachment. You go on chopping them in the altar of your heart, where there is a blazing fire of your aspiration. And watch them burn up and be sublimated. When anger is burnt up, anger is not so bad. But when hatred is burnt up, it becomes love. Pride is burnt up and sacrificed, becomes humility. That's the type of yajna we are talking about. Otherwise, scriptures like Gita are not interested in ordinary sacrifices. But when I said anger is not so bad, anger is more quick expression. Something is annoying else, you become agitated, and a quick manifestation of temper. But that calms down. And immediately a person may become humble and say, please, forgive me. But hatred simmers. And you can be very foxy. Inwardly you may hate a person. Outwardly you may show quite different attitude. And hatred lingers for a long time. That's the animal that needs to be sacrificed. That sacrificing of that animal pleases the godly qualities within you, the potential virtues. And when sacrifice is completed, Gods who are pleased, now they bless you with love in your heart. When hatred was growing, it was all thorny. Now what did God do? By their pleasure, they turned those thorns into flowers. So, you please gods, and gods in turn give you blessings. The mutual interaction goes on. If that is so, you are a yogi, karma yogi. When the karma yogi means all, yoga is always, all together. Yoga of action is called karma yoga. Yoga of emotion, turning emotion into divine love, called bhakti yoga. Culturing your willpower to control the mind, that's called Dhyana yoga. Rendering your reasoning process very subtle, allowing your intellect to become intuitional, that's called Dhyana yoga. Yoga is always four-aspected, because your movement is not one aspect. If you practice karma yoga, automatically your feeling will rise to a high level. Your willing becomes very strong. Your insight will become penetrative insight. If you focus only on the devotion, your action will become karma yoga automatically. And your willing will lead you to meditation, etc. In other words, all these four, just like no matter where you go, you have your hands, your heart, your neck, and your head. You don't keep anything behind. But you have always a choice which yoga you want to highlight in your life. And go ahead, highlight it. But always understand you are not separated from other yogas. You cannot. If you understand more and more, then you become the practitioner of integral yoga, and your mind is open. Bringing yajna bhavana, spirit of sacrifice, in all your actions. That's the message behind this verse. There are two aspects of this spirit of yajna, tyag and upakar. Tyag means detachment, moving away from selfishness, a life of detachment, renunciation, relinquishment. Upakar, doing good to others. Increasingly, you become involved in helping others. You are not always focused on me, my house, my people. But increasingly, your heart develops a sense of universal. The whole universe is my family. Sarvabhuti hite rata. Become involved in helping all living beings. That doesn't mean you go after everything. Your heart is ready to have a feeling of compassion. You see yourself in other people. Things that hurt you, those things hurt others as well. So by placing yourself in the shoes of others, that you do it by your imagination, you try to understand their difficulties. And there is a joy in helping others to whatever degree you can do, to whatever extent. And from broad point of view, no matter what type of action you are involved in, first to realize you are always involved in something from morning till night. No matter whatever you are involved in, consider that involvement a kind of an act of touching God, serving God, worshipping God. But worshipping God in every act begins with entertaining the yajna spirit, the spirit of renunciation, and the spirit of doing good to others, the spirit of selflessness, and the spirit of doing as much good to others as possible. Tyag and Paropkar, these two are Sanskrit words. If you are entertaining these in your heart, your action becomes a yajna. And the negative in you, the animal aspect, the demoniac aspect, the lower self, that is sacrificed. You go on sacrificing them, and the sublimated energy that comes out of it goes on intensifying the higher forces, the forces of light. Forces of darkness and forces of light, higher self and lower self, they blend in every individual. If you are not spiritually sensitive, then lower self dominates you. That means you are deprived of cosmic resources within yourself. Gods are there to give you all, but what can they do? You've kept your doors shut. You don't even look at them. It's important to understand. As anger, greed, hate, these go on dominating your mind. And you feel very joyous to see your ego becoming inflated. All that can give you a sense of success, sense of strength. But that's demoniac strength. Inwardly, you become weak, full of fear, insecurity, instability. And your understanding of purpose of life becomes distorted. All that one person thinks of, what should I attain? I should have a lot of money. If I have a lot of money, what should I do? You start already writing down, these places I will visit. How many times? You go and imagine. I'm making a joke out of it, but idea is there are lots of desires. Dominated by lower self, the soul moves on from body to body. Desires never end. In the pursuit of petty desires, so much energy is involved, so much stress, pain, sorrow. And when you fulfill the desire, hardly it has enriched you. So that there develops a tremendous wastage of inner energy. But when you have developed the spirit of sacrifice, in daily life you bring practice of japa, meditation, study of scriptures, being inspired by satsanga, controlling your negative and feeling proud of your mind was filled with anger towards someone and you had thought of a lot of nasty things to say. But now with little meditation and japa, your mind has changed. And it is satisfied not to say anything, but to try to understand the person. And in spite of all the crudeness, send out feeling of compassion. When you do, you begin to develop pride about yourself. Because this is a higher accomplishment than having just tooth for a tooth. until notice is revealed. You begin to see the difference between living a life just led by ego's whims and a life where there is patience, humility, compassion, love of God, profounder love for people around, and higher quality of heart develops within you. Life is on a totally different level. That experience of life, general people don't have. But when you begin to practice yoga, karma yoga, integral yoga in your life, then real joy begins to develop within your heart. Every day becomes joyous. Every action that you do becomes a flower being offered to God. Every situation has a meaning for you. All that doesn't come so easily, but easy or not, everyone is persisting for whatever you are working for. Whatever you have gained now, it has not come to you easily. Countless lives are involved behind it. Our movement towards God realization is not as strenuous as movement towards shallow attainments. Movement towards enlightenment has to be a project of sustained effort. But this effort brings to you real fulfillment. And until the effort begins to develop effortlessness. Effort is there on both sides. But shift the effort aspect towards pleasing gods. And when we say pleasing gods, that becomes a movement towards pleasing the God. Ishtan bhogan hi wo deva tasyante yajna bhavita taidattan pradayabhyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. The gods pleased with yajna will bestow upon you the objects of your desire. If you are moving with that yajna spirit, your desires undergo a change. Your desires will not be of rajasic, tamasic type. Tamasic type of desire is how to revenge on someone, how to excel someone in a nasty way. Your desire will be, how can I be more helpful? How can I be more a storehouse of virtue? How can I be more enriched in a spiritual way? That will be your desire. The desire will change. Desire is of three types. You have tamasic desire, rajasic desire, sattvic desire. Tamasic desire is ugly, negative. If it is fulfilled, it will blacken your nose. Sattvic desire is positive. As long as you go on building up sattva more and more. With sattvic desire, you are pleasing gods. Gods in turn, allowing your sattvic desire to become more and more sattvic, more and more free of limitations. The gods pleased with yajna will bestow upon you the objects of your desire. Therefore, you will find in your life a sense of spiritual prosperity. Your desires will be fulfilled like magic. You will not strain yourself because you are now becoming in a sense of harmony with cosmic movement. You open the window and see the clouds gathering in the sky. Your mind will say, what a wonderful day it is. The world is going to rejoice the grace of God showering through the clouds. If you had Rajasic, Tamasic desire, you open the window and see the clouds. Say, what a headache. Frio. Same world, same situation. If you are developing sattva within yourself, you have a greater ability, greater potentiality of being happy in the world. And converting thorns into flowers. A magical ability develops within you. But when you are moving towards Rajasic, Tamasic type of life, stress after stress heaps up in the unconscious. Memories after memories, how things were 40 years back. People who helped you, people who didn't help you, all those memories, how did you survive? Not only that, you dump all this to other minds also. This point is extremely important to understand. So if you have grasped it properly, then not a single day will you miss your doing japa, being with satsanga, inspiring your mind, thinking of God, highlighting good feeling within yourself, minimizing the crude and abrupt eruptions of malas. That becomes the style of life. That style of life brings a different dimension in your personality. Those who enjoy the objects given by the gods without offering yajna to them are thieves. Gods have given you great opportunity. This soul equipped with body-mind complex, human personality, manushyatvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurush samshraya. Three things are great attainments, rarest attainments in this universe. To be born as a human being. As a human being, you can attain enlightenment. You are not completely enclosed by instinctive plane. You have rationality within you, which can be sublimated into intuition. So only when you look around and people and souls that you see, as a human being, you have that ability to attain enlightenment. So therefore, being born as a human being, that's great. You could have been born anywhere. There are countless souls. You could have been a butterfly, you could have been a cat, a fox, an elephant, a giraffe, a swan, a fish. Could have been anywhere. To be born as a human being out of countless possibilities. And all that has happened without your ego being aware of it. It's a miracle, God's grace. Next miracle, if you are led to Mahapurusha Samshraya, first to develop aspiration to become spiritually enriched, aspiration to find the purpose of your life and fulfill it. That's the next type of great, rare blessing. Third type of blessing, you are led to those who can guide you and to lead you to your attainment. All these are possible as a human being. And all this has become possible because certain karmas you did and gods were pleased. To that extent, you have gotten your body, your mind, all the resources. Now, if you do not offer yajna, you do not live your life with the spirit of doing good to others, but utilize all that has come to you only for your little self, ego, then you are thieves. And the life of a thief is, even the thief might have stolen a lot of things. So life is miserable any time. Smart detectives can find them. यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. Those good men who eat only the remnants of what is left from sacrifice are freed from all sins. It's a highly allegorical statement. Remnants of sacrifice. If you are performing actions with the spirit of doing good to others and with the spirit of renunciation, tyag, with humility, whatever you perform with these two attitudes, tyaga and doing good, your performance is kind of a puja. Just like we entered into a temple, you did your puja, and what happens after? Take a prasad and start sipping it. So if you are doing your duty, every day opens an opportunity. If you are doing your duties correctly, profoundly, with the spirit of integral yoga, a subtle sense of prasad enters your heart. And the characteristic of the prasad is serenity, a sense of inner satisfaction, inner joy. Yummy, yummy, yummy in the heart. Living a life without yummy experience in the heart, it's a shallow life. With the spirit of yajna done day by day, you are living a life of inner joy, where heart is getting more and more satisfied. That means you are enjoying the prasad. But those evil men who prepare food only for themselves alone feast on sin. Those who do not perform the sacrifice, the yajna that I am talking about, who prepare food, don't take it literally. What is it referring to? Who prepare the day-to-day situations in life. You do that led by your own mind, your own attitudes. You can make things agreeable, you can make things disagreeable. All that is your preparation of the food. When your activities and daily conduct is focused on making the ego happy, what have I to gain from it? Am I going to be enjoying this? If you at all become a little more selfless, how can I help myself, my family, my children? And that's it. Let the world go to hell. The fact is, your focus on helping the near and dear ones, that itself becomes defective. You don't have the quality to help them. The moment you find even a near dear one not in harmonizing with you, divorce, kick them out. So therefore, spirit of yajna has to enter, spirit of selflessness. So if you are preparing food, if you are doing all your works for pleasing your ego and for ensuring your selfishness, then you are feasting on sin. Whatever enjoyment you are getting, that enjoyment has a venom in it, which will lead to difficult circumstances in future. You are creating karmas that bind you. You are being involved in Vishaya Sukh, called sense enjoyment, objects of senses. But the Sanskrit word Vishaya has vish in it. Vish means poison. Just going after sense enjoyments, though you are enjoying it, but poison is entering into your unconscious. With every pleasure, your mind is developing a sense of illusion that happiness comes from object. One illusion. Second illusion, therefore, I must get the object of my pleasure in abundance. And then comes a problem. Can't decide, is this object really an object of pleasure? In the morning it looks well, in the evening it doesn't look well. Food is delightful when you are hungry, not delightful when you are not hungry. Human beings are delightful in harmonious state. When there is disharmony, they are not delightful. So therefore, mind becomes always filled with insecurity. This is the predicament of deriving happiness out of sense enjoyments. On the other hand, if you have developed the spirit of yajna, your mind has begin to enjoy a breeze of selflessness. You're going out of selfish state. Selfish state same like a fish in a shell. Selfless fish getting out of the shell. And not only getting out, but becoming a bird, like a swan. So the spirit of sacrifice has not entered the heart. And you are living only for the little self. You are creating a heap of karmas. And karmas are called, all the karmas, more than 50% are negative. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshar samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. They're highly advanced writings. That's why Gita is not easy for the masses, though they hold the books easily. It requires a lot of deep insight to understand. You take them literally, you are nowhere. From food are derived the bodies of beings. Food here relates to matter. Matter, soul needs matter for its evolution. Matter turns into body, mind, senses, etc. Without this matter, without this food, without the body-mind complex, the soul cannot evolve. And this body-mind set is the food. From food are derived the bodies. And from rain comes food. Rain means vasanas, subtle desires that are the source of karmas. Every soul, what type of body will you have? What type of brain? What type of nervous system? That will be according to the vasanas. Subtle desires that exist in your unconscious. Even before you were born, unconscious with subtle desires existed in a subtle plane. And when you are born, it begins to connect itself, operate through your nervous system. Just like electricity exists even before your house was built. After your house is built, then electricity begins to flow the way you have wired. So vasanas are the source of the type of food, materials that the soul uses or abuses. It is yajna that causes rain. And the secret of developing vasanas depends upon yajna. If you are a performer of yajna, you develop shubha vasanas. Vasanas that will rain down blessings. If you are practicing Tyag, that mystic detachment, along with the spirit of Paropkar, doing good to others, on that basis, the impressions that develop in your mind, they are called Shubha Vasanas, which express in the form of spiritual, positive inclinations, good inclinations. Shubha Vasana means your heart is always ready to help others, ready to be kind, ready to harmonize, ready to be happy in a positive way, ready to choose the right course of action. So gathering Shubha Vasanas, again, is a project for an aspirant. But you must understand the role of Shubha Vasana, contrasted from Ashubha Vasana. Ashubha Vasana is lots of impressions you have gathered on the basis of anger and hate. So many confused desires are all sitting like crabs. With that set of vasana in the mind, you don't live your life fully. It is yajna that causes rain. So for Shubha Vasanas, yajna spirit has to develop. Yajna is born of action. In order to allow that yajna spirit to develop, start performing your duties. Your duty or action has three aspects: thought, word, deed. Know that karma proceeds from the Vedas. All this has an authenticity. Vedas have sanctioned. Great sages are in harmony with you. And the Vedas emanate from Brahman, the Absolute. So if you have started moving in a right way, you are being touched by the Absolute. Therefore, the all-pervading eternal Brahman abides in yajna. Most powerful understanding. People say, where is God? Can I go find God in that temple, that temple? Secret is that Brahman abides in the spirit of yajna. If you are able to develop a sense of generosity, charity in your heart, surrender to God, love of God, and whatever you do that is in harmony with all this, that means you are performing yajna. And in every performance of yajna, in that yajna, there is the presence of Brahman, the Absolute. That means even a tiny act of goodness in your heart has drawn God by a string. And you are drawing more and more. And there cannot be anything more blessed than connectedness with God Himself. And that becomes possible even though you are doing very ordinary work, just cooking rice, washing plates, sowing seeds, no matter what work, whatever job, big or small, doing the work that has come to you, doing it well, allowing your heart to open up with compassion, with joy. In every act of selflessness and charity, that act becomes like a little mirror in which you see the divine face reflected. You can be in touch with God day by day, moment after moment, action after action. If that goes on, you have no choice but to be liberated. You don't need any other miracle. And with this, I will conclude. Om Shanti.